Hi, this is Sonoria. I'm back again with my story, part 28. So, as I was saying, I was talking about my son's dad. So, I want to move on because I have so much I want to talk about. The other thing is, I had told you guys a story about how I was in school and how I got kicked out, and my mom sent me to Job Corps. So, I want to go back on that because uh, well, a lot of things happened back then, and so it was actually the beginning of something totally different for me, including my pregnancy. So I was in school and I was involved in sports. I was one of those kids that was involved in all sports. I could play it, whatever it was. And so, how I got in trouble, because I never did explain on the video what I did to got in trouble. So, during the time that I was playing basketball, it was basketball season, and the girls came over. They play ball. They come to our school, whatever, and so we go on breaks every now and again. So, um, I had went in the back, and they were all out there playing ball. Now, what I would do is I would go into the locker room, and I go in the lockers, and I would go in there, and I would go through the girls' purses and stuff. I was a thief. Yes, I was doing something I had no business. Some of them I had to break into the lock, and I'm not going to tell you how I broke into them, but I used to get in there, trust me. Make a little noise, but I would get in. Some of them, they would just throw them in there and just leave their purse in there, and I would have their ID. I knew where they lived. I had keys to their cars, keys to their homes, but I wasn't going in them. I wasn't doing them yet. So, anyway, one time I got busted. That's how they found out that I was a person that was stealing stuff out of these lockers. So that's why they kicked me out of the high school. I was going to Hinckley High in Aurora, Colorado, and they kicked me out of school. That's when my mom decided, you're going to Job Corps. So I was like, with the bad kids, I'm not thinking I'm that bad, but anyway, I was bad enough. I really was bad. So, but to me, them kids had to be the worst of the worst, like murderers and killers and rapists and stuff. I don't belong to be with them. So long story short, they sent me there anyway. Mom sent me there. So I went there and I met my oldest daughter's dad. And so I was a virgin when I met him. I told you the story about Sean, the guy that I was dating, who he gave me this promise ring. I just threw that right out the window as soon as I got hooked up with baby daddy. So down the road, I ended up coming back after that because I got pregnant. So the place kicked me out and I couldn't go to school there no more. So the reason I went back, first of all, is to tell you the story of really why I got kicked out of school, because I never did share that part. But that's why I got kicked out of school. So when I came back and I was pregnant, and my mom was trying to get me to have this abortion. So down the road, I'm going to move forward because a lot of this I've already explained to you, but I just thought that was important to share it. If I'm going to tell my truth, then I needed to tell what I had done and how I ended up getting in trouble and actually got expelled from the school, not just from that school, but all year round, and couldn't go to no other schools in Denver. So that was the end of it. Them people wasn't playing with me at all. So, long story short, when my daughter was her dad lived in St. Louis and I was living in Denver, and we had met in Job Corps, so it wasn't like we lived in the same state. And I want to talk a little bit about that because it was something that happened when she got old enough or whatever. I used to talk to my kids a lot about things, and I would share to them things, and I would always let them know if someone ever does anything to you, you come and tell me. I don't care what you did. I don't care what they promise you. I don't care if they threaten you. You always come and tell me, and I'll take care of it. Don't never be scared of nobody. And I think it's important that parents teach their children, they oh, those kids are too young and you shouldn't be telling them that. No, it's because I talk to my children that when something happened, my child was able to say, hey, Mom, this guy touched me in the wrong way. Huh? He did what? Now, the crazy part about it was, this is my oldest daughter, and she started in kindergarten. And when she told me, I was coming in from bingo, and I had left my other daughter, I only have two daughters, so my other daughter I was pregnant with, I had her, and her dad and then was at the house, and I was at bingo. This is when I was writing bad checks. It's what I went to prison for. The first time I went to prison, that's why I said, don't think that you can't go to prison. And this is on my own account. The problem was, it was for insufficient funds, which means I'm writing checks knowing that I don't have money in the bank. Now, my friend had hooked me up and told me, I don't know if it was a hookup, but for me it was. She said, listen, you go open up a bank account and you put $100 in there, and then when your checks come, they come to the house, then you go get your money out the bank, and then you just be writing checks. Oh, that was perfect for me. I was going to bingo, writing bad checks, getting a whole bunch of pool tabs and playing bingo. And honey, whenever I would win, I had to give it to somebody else to go, because if I go up there myself to cash it in, like if I hit poker for $100, they want you to buy back your check. So I said, oh, I see now what that is. So I didn't do that no more. I started having other people go take my winnings, and then I would give them something for going to take them. So long story short, I came home one day, and my boyfriend, you know, my daughter's dad, like I said, they all had different ones, but anyway, this particular daughter, she's my third child. I had, my oldest was my daughter, then I had another son, and then behind that son I had another daughter. Then after that it was all boys. So I ended up with 5 sons and 2 daughters. So the story that I want to share with you is something that was so important. It affected my life, it affected my children's life, and I want to share it because I believe there's lots of people who have experienced it or went through this, and I want to make sure that we can talk about it and I could express it. So what happened was, I came home and she was like, Mom, I want to tell you something. So meanwhile, he's telling me, babe, I'll be back, I'm finna go do something he told me he was gonna go do. I didn't care, because you know, I didn't came home, I got a pocket full of money. I've been writing checks saying I was buying pool tabs, putting money in my pocket, and I wasn't buying, I buy $10, $20 worth, but I'm writing a check for $100. So I was making money doing that. And every now and again I would actually win, then I would have to have somebody go up there and get it for me. But anyway, so that's how I was making money, the sideline money. I also was writing checks, not only the bingo, but I was writing checks for her school clothes and things that I thought she was going to need, because this is going to be her first year in school. So I want to make sure, you know what I'm saying, that she have whatever she need. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I don't have a job now, because when I came home off maternity leave, I was in the medical field. When I came home, my job wasn't available for me anymore. So they didn't even keep my job. They gave it away to someone else. So now I'm unemployed. I got 3 kids. One of them's a baby. And then I'm dealing with a dad that he's always in trouble, always into something getting away. And when the police would get after him, honey, he would run. You ain't never seen Kunta Kinte with a second brother looking like him. So anyhow, he left. My daughter said, Mom, I got to talk to you. I said, what's going on? So we sat down on the couch and stuff, and she said, when you were gone, she told me that this guy that I'm dating took her in the bathroom, and that he told her to pull her panties down, and she pulled her panties down, and then she said, he hurt me. I said, what you mean he hurt you? What did he do to you? You know, because I'm very calm when you're telling me something, because one thing I don't want to do is jump the gun. So I need to hear everything you got to say. And one of the main things I've ever taught my children, do not lie to me. Always tell me the truth. I don't care what part you play, tell me the truth. So she told me, she said, he put his stain in me, and it was hurting me, and I was crying, and he was telling me stop crying, and I said, I'm gonna tell Bob, and he was like, you better not tell your mama. If you tell your mama, I'm gonna kill you and your mama, and when we get done, I'm gonna give you a Twinkie. He knows she loved Twinkies, so quit crying and be quiet. So she had a brother that's, you know, younger than her. They're 3 years apart. And so he was in the room, in another room. I don't know what happened, where he was, but anyway. So he had her in the bathroom, and then she said, and Mom, he peed on me. I said, what you mean he peed on you? She said some white stuff came out. He peed on me. It was all wet and yucky. And I said, no, he didn't pee on you. This motherfucker actually calmed. Now, this might seem crazy, but his dick was too big for me. So I know damn well he was too big to be fucking with my daughter, because she just starting kindergarten, nigga. Or like, what kind of sick mind? What makes a man molest a child? I will never ever understand it, and I really wish God would just put a mark on these people's forehead, or something, or cut their dicks off, so you won't ever have to ask a question, or they can't ever do that to anyone else. I'm gonna say this to you. Having a child that was molested was terrible. My daughter, I didn't trust anybody after that, but I'm gonna go on with the story. Oh, okay, I'm on here 10 minutes. I'm coming right back. Do not lose focus, because this is a good topic that I want to discuss.